Some of you may be looking for work right now, and you're looking to maybe go from being told what to do to maybe telling other people what to do. What does that landscape look like? What does that world look like where you may be the boss? We want to talk with a young lady who has a book that's just come out, Next Move, Best Move, Transitioning into a Career That You Will Love. Please welcome to the conversation author Kimberly B. Cummings. Kimberly, thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to talk about this today.
Now, I understand the book is just coming out. Give us an overview of what this book is about.
So this book is for anyone going through a career transition. And in the book, I define a career transition as any type of career movement. It doesn't have to be catastrophic where you're moving from marketing into finance. Literally, if you're looking to move into a lateral job, promotional job, graduating from college, looking to be the first manager of your career, any type of movement is considered a career transition.
Now, before we get there, what goes into the mindset of somebody saying, am I worthy to make it to the next level? Don't you have to change what's up here first before you even apply yourself to that position?
I love that you said that. I think there's so much to talk about when you consider your value that you bring to the workplace. And I think as you're thinking about your mindset, it's crucial to remember what is the value and impact that you bring every single day, and to stand on the results that you've gotten throughout the trajectory of your career. I tell all my clients they need to have a happy folder where they write down all their wins, they save all of the emails where someone's like, oh my gosh, you did such a great job. You need to stand on that to remind yourself as you're getting ready to make a transition, you've done this before. You can do it. The job that you have, you got because they selected you. So there should be a little bit of confidence that comes just from knowing that.
When you've been trying to advance on a particular job and you feel like you want to be elevated or elevate yourself, it seems like the people on the other side of the desk maybe throw things back at you that discourage you from wanting that position, or things that say maybe you're not as qualified for this position as you think. Is there a way to get beyond that fear or battle that when you're in that particular arena?
100%. I think number one, the time to want a transition or start preparing is at least 6 months before you're ready to make that move or the job becomes available. At that time, it's important that you start aligning yourself with the next role, especially if you're applying for jobs that are inside your current company. I tell everyone that you've been on the longest interview of your entire life. So they already see you in this mold. You need to break out of that mold and align yourself with the mold of the new job that you're seeking. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done well before you try to make that leap. If the job rec is up, you should have started a long time ago to start preparing yourself.
So we get past that. We get to the point where, yes, I'm qualified, I deserve this, I want it. What kind of management style should a person take on? Do you manage people the way you were managed, or is there a trick? Is there a best practices for the type of leader that you want to be?
So only manage people how you were managed if it was good. Don't try and take any of the bad habits that you've had before. In the first chapter of my book, I say that serving as a people leader is a privilege. It is not a rite of passage. So if you're moving into one of those roles, definitely acknowledge that maybe this is something you have to want just a little bit, because you're then in charge of managing someone's career. The number one tip I give to anyone who's a new people leader is to do what I call a working styles assessment, to understand how people best work every single day. What are their norms? It's so easy to say that, this is how you're going to do things, the iron fist just coming down, this is your team. But in order to have a team that fosters a sense of community, it is crucial to also understand how everyone on your team works best, so you can adapt just a little bit.
Now, Kimberly, we all have different personality traits, and there's the Myers-Briggs personality test.
Yeah.
We have extroverts, we have introverts. Not everybody works the same. Do you have to have an arsenal of that kind of resources, that kind of knowledge and information to be an effective manager?
I I don't think so. So much of it is just being able to have a good conversation and listen. That's really what I believe it is. Listening to what people want, listening to their needs, understanding when they need to be supported, understanding when not to micromanage, even if you're a little bit nervous, and also thinking about that career development. Most employees, they say that they leave because they have a bad manager. Sometimes it's not the company, it's not the job, it's really just the manager. You have the power as a manager to really impact someone's experience at a company. And I think so much of it comes from listening, understanding your people, of course, driving the work, but also helping the people move and change the trajectory of their own career while they're reporting to you.
Now, with that, coming from the employee side into management, sometimes it seems like you know exactly what to do. When you're an employee and you see the manager not doing the right thing, you know, if I were doing that, I would do this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
But when you actually get in that seat, the landscape looks a little bit different.
Oh,
How
yeah.
do you balance those feelings that you've had as an employee and now maybe what you're seeing from a different lens as a manager?
It is so difficult. One of the things I always say is that no one normally trains you on how to be an effective manager. You're just kind of thrown into the fire. You need to manage people's work, manage your own work. I think it's really important to have your own mentors and to also create relationships at the same level that you're on. So you can strategize like, hey, this person was super late to the office today, or you know what, the work quality wasn't how it needed to be, or you need to have a tough conversation. You need people, mentors who you can talk to help you navigate the day to day, because it's hard. Not every employee you manage is going to be great. Not everyone's going to be able to work autonomously. There are going to be problems. So you need to make sure you have community who can assist you.
And I want to put you on the spot a little bit. I'm sure you've done a lot of research for this book. It's not that bad. I would like for you to give me three maybe do's and don'ts, three things that employers don't like about management and management styles, and three ways to counter those, three ways to not be that person. Can you handle that one?
I think I can. I'm challenged now. I have to. So three things. So number one, I think the micromanagement is a big one. You need to empower people to do the work every single day and be able to work autonomously. Number two, I think something that is a big no-no is not being as transparent as possible. So many times managers worry about like climbing the ladder themselves, but they don't think about how to support their team and share things. So it doesn't seem like there's almost this ceiling for your employees of like, well, I don't know what they're doing every single day. And that can foster a sense of resentment amongst the team. And then number three, I think when things are happening in the world, we've had a crazy 2020 and 2021. I think a lot of leaders don't acknowledge what's happening. And that could be anything that's happening in the world. Even if you had a parent pass away last week, or something related to social injustice, anything, acknowledge that the world also impacts your employees every single day. Acknowledge that they're people. They're not just there to drive the work home every single day. Some days are going to be hard. And I think being able to acknowledge that, be empathetic, and allow the work to, of course, happen, but allow people to be people in the workplace. I think that's probably the third one I'd say.
And on that third one, I want to ask you this. So you kind of mentioned current events, things that are going on, acknowledge those things that are happening in the world. That seems like it would lend itself to talk about politics. And one of the biggest no-nos I've always heard is you don't talk about politics in the workspace. Can you elaborate on that some?
You're really sticking it hard to me with these questions today. So I don't think that falls under politics. I think it falls under being a human being. I think with all the things that are happening in the world, if we're talking about Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, the LGBTQIA community, I think that these are people, right? Everyone is a person, and some of these activities that are happening in the world are going to impact your employees. And even with COVID-19, right? If someone has a sick parent at home, how are they supposed to function every single day in the workplace like nothing is happening? I think we need to treat all of those things as something valid that's happening in people's lives. And I'm not saying you need to get into a debate or talk about it. I think it can be as simple as a Slack message like, hey, I know there's a lot going on today. Please let me know if you need to take time. Let me know how you're actually ask how people are doing and allow them to respond. And sometimes don't just take, I'm fine, when you see someone's face and you know they're not fine. I think it's really just being a human.
I've really enjoyed that advice. Thank you very much. Very insightful. And last but not least, tell people how they can get your book. It's out today, Next Move, Best Move, Transitioning into a Career You'll Love. How do you pick that up?
So it is available wherever books are sold. And if you go to nextmovebestmovebook.com, you can find all of the information there and direct links to purchase.
All right. Well, I wish you a lot of success with your book. And anything else you'd like to add to that person who's sitting there raring at the bit, ready to dip his or her toe into the management experience? Any last words of advice?
So the manifesto for my company is you must believe in yourself and your vision. When you do this, you can manifest the life you desire. You have to believe that you can do this and you are worthy. And if you're listening to this, I believe that you are. So go for it.
Kimberly Cummings, thank you very much for stopping by and talking with us. The book, it's out. Go check it out. Next Move, Best Move. And let us know and reach out to the author and let her know what you think.